Interest rates are in the sixes, inventory is going down, and houses aren't selling as fast as they once were. Has the housing bubble burst in Orlando? This is the January 2023 Orlando real estate market update. Let's take a look at some stats. All right, so here's our chart from December of 2022, and you're gonna see me looking down. I'm just looking at my screen. And now to mention, this is from Stellar MLS. So what that means is basically, this is data from all of Central Florida. So that includes, of course, Orlando, but also Tampa and over on the East Coast, like parts of Daytona Beach and things like that. So pretty big area, but it gives us a good scope of what's going on. So a couple of the things that I like to look at is the months of inventory, which we can see was 3 in December. And then if you look down here, it tells us in November, it was 4, went down a little bit, which is kind of interesting because sometimes in December, that's when things like, not as many people are really trying to buy houses and things like that. They're more focused on the holidays. So it's interesting that that went down a little bit. And then I like to look here, ADOM, average days on market, which is 41 days. And then in November of 2022, it was 34. So, and I think that makes sense. We are seeing that some homes are staying on the market longer than they once were. I think some of it is obviously, a demand, right? There's not maybe as many buyers out there right now. And then also too, I think it's sometimes sellers are just still pricing their property above market value, and it's just taking a little longer for them to sell their homes. Now we're going to take a look at the pricing trend chart here. And so we can see that come October, November, December, it's starting to kind of even out here. From November and December, it stayed around the same amount. So let's see. So in November, the median home price, or the average sales price, was $432,470. And now let's look in December, $432,201. So pretty close. Not much movement there. And I think that makes sense. I think this is maybe the housing correction that we've kind of been assuming that's going to be happening. So that could be it right now, where we're just not seeing prices going up a whole bunch, but we're also not seeing them go down either. So could that mean maybe there's not a housing bubble yet and it hasn't burst? Let's find out. Now we'll go into the supply and demanding chart here. Supply and demand charts. So we can see here that in October, November, December, again, it's still kind of staying even there. So that makes sense with all the other data that we saw. Now, this is the state of the market report from Orlando Realtors Association, ORA. Now, this is going to be just in this, Metro Orlando area. Average days on market is 49, so a little bit more than Stellar MLS. And then that month to month change, it was 43 last month. And then the average price is the 421,685. And then last month it was 424,483 here in the Central Florida, or in the Metro Orlando area. So it went down a little bit, which, it isn't too surprising. I think there's going to be, some little adjustments here and there, but we're not going to see those big changes like we were seeing just a few months ago, like in the summer and stuff. Now, let me read this quote for you up top here. The white hot seller's market we saw last year is over, as we're now seeing a more traditional market, said Lisa Hill from the ORA. She's the ORA president. Inventory is on the rise, giving buyers more options. However, those buyers are also faced with higher interest rates, which will have the biggest impact on the market in 2023, which I think that makes sense. All right, now let's look at things by county and city. So we're going to be focusing on the median sale price and then the months of inventory. And I don't know why that text jumbled up there, but it is what it is. We'll work around it, right? Okay, so now this is from November. So we can see the median sale price in Orange County was $455, and the months of inventory was 2. And then the months of inventory, adjusted just a little bit there. So we are seeing a little bit of a price decrease in some of these counties. So that's interesting. Now we'll go to some cities. All right, so here's Kissimmee. The median sale price was $370, months of inventory 2.5. 362, 2.5. And then in Oviedo, the median sales price, $565, and the months of inventory was 1.5. Wow, okay. So median sales price went down $451. That's a pretty big jump there, huh? From $565 to $451. That's interesting. All right, and on to St. Cloud, we have the median sales price at 410, the months of inventory at 2.9, okay, down to 399, 2.8. So kind of similar what we've been seeing in a lot of these areas. Sanford was 311 for the median home price, 1.8 months of inventory. It went up a little bit, 315. And then 1.7 months of inventory. And Winter Garden, 676 was the median sale price. And the months of inventory was 1.9 in November. And then in December, 595 and then 1.7. Okay, so that went down a bit too. So let's go to Winter Park. And I think we'll note something here. Sometimes when you see that median sales price jump a bit, it's also due to what has sold and what's available out there. So you'll see in Winter Park is one that I see it a lot, where the median sales price jumps out a lot because you have these kind of starter homes that maybe are selling for 400,000, 350, and then you have these multi-million dollar properties. And you'll see that a little bit in Winter Garden as well and some other areas of Orlando. So the median sale price in November was 728 and the months of inventory was 3.2, and now it went down to 640, 2.8. So what does all of this mean? Has the housing bubble burst in Orlando? After analyzing the data, I think there are two schools of thought. The first is, yes, the housing bubble has burst as many have predicted it would. Interest rates are rising at a rate that buyers simply couldn't afford anymore. Affordability, or lack thereof, has gotten out of control. The median home price has started to come down the past few months and is now leveled out. The months of inventory are going up, and we may see a shift from a seller's market to a buyer's market very shortly. The second school of thought is, no, the housing bubble hasn't burst in Orlando. There isn't a housing crash coming in the near future. The shift in inventory and median home price is just that, a shift or housing correction. The market was red hot, and now it's cooling off, not crashing. What do you think? Has the housing bubble burst in Orlando? Let us know in the comments. Also, hit the like button if you're enjoying the video so far. That really helps out the channel. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you are a subscriber, I really appreciate your support. Thank you. Oh, and let me formally introduce myself. I'm Dan Gnader, a real estate agent in Orlando. My contact information is in the description below if you want to reach out to me for any real estate questions or needs. If you need an agent, just let me know. I also have a list of my preferred properties for sale in Orlando in the description. So which is it? What thought is right? Has the housing bubble burst yet? At this point, I think it's too early to tell. In the normal real estate cycle in Orlando, around this time is when you see the median home price drop a little and the months of inventory will go up. Traditionally in the fourth quarter and beginning of the year, the housing market slows down a bit in Orlando. Most people are focused on the holidays and then settling into the new year, not buying or selling real estate. With the interest rates increasing as they have, I'm not surprised buyers are being a bit pickier, and some people just aren't in the position to buy at this time anymore. Because of all this, I think that's why we're seeing the market slow down a bit. The housing market here in Orlando is pretty unpredictable, so I wouldn't be surprised if we are in a housing bubble and it does burst soon. I have noticed that sellers are starting to be more open to price reductions and negotiating. So if you have been looking to buy a home in the past year or so and stopped because you couldn't get an accepted offer, you may have a better chance now. You can also gauge the health of the housing market by looking at new construction. Nationwide, new home starts are on a decline. Orlando new home starts have decreased a little bit. New construction builders are offering more and more incentives to buyers, buying down interest rates, and giving buyers design credits. My email is getting flooded with new construction communities each day talking about all kinds of incentives. With all that being said, from what I'm seeing, they're still able to sell their inventory. New construction communities seem to be shifting with the market as they probably don't want a repeat of 2008. Since the market is unpredictable right now, I think new construction companies are trying to be conservative and not overextend themselves. Because of that, we don't see a flood of new homes that aren't being sold, which in turn means our inventory overall is pretty low. I read an article recently that was talking about builder confidence and it's on the rise, so we'll just have to see what happens. There were 17 foreclosures in December. We had 9 in the Orlando area in November and 20 in October. So we're still not seeing a flood of foreclosures as some people were predicting about a year ago. Because of these factors, I'm not sure the housing bubble has burst yet. But I do think if you're going to buy or sell real estate now, you should use caution and make sure you're making the right decision for yourself. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or need some input on your particular situation. Check out this video about my Orlando real estate predictions for 2023 or this playlist about the Orlando real estate market. You can find my contact information in the description below. Thanks for watching.